Hello, I am Alfred, and here to talk to you about early signee Jamarion Miller headed to Alabama. He was previously committed to Texas, and now he is going to go to Alabama. So instead of competing with Bijan Robinson and Jadon Blue, he's going to be competing against Jason McClellan, Trey Sanders, Kamar Wheaton next year. But I think he's got a chance to actually make some noise early. I really like Jamarion Miller, and that's why I want to talk to you today about him. So he is ranked, I think the sixth running back on 24/7, and then the composite seventh running back in the country. He is actually my running back 3 in a tier of his own, kind of behind the top 2 that are in the first tier, and then he's kind of in his own category. And then there's the RB4 is actually considerable ways behind Jamarion Miller. So I really like him. I think he's an excellent prospect. And let's talk a little bit about why. So what I do is I grade guys on first step, acceleration, change of direction, long speed, contact balance, vision, and receiving. That gets all scored out of 5 points. And then you've got the skill grade, and that's just what I see. Then I give kind of some bonus multipliers for weight, because at running back, we know weight matters. You want to get a guy who can at least be kind of projected to be 215, 220 in the NFL for that true like bell cow future. And then the prestige, because I think it does matter. Guys going to a place like Alabama should get a little bonus because all the scouting in Alabama and all the people at Alabama wanted to get him on campus. And the best of the best are going to be going to Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson. There's only about 5 that I give the kind of the elite multiplier, and then I give some multipliers for other Power 5 schools and some different things like that. But he's going to Bama, so he's going to get the extra 20% on top of his skill score, and that's just kind of how I do it. That's my process. I wanted to talk about what Miller brings to the table. So he's 5'10", 195, coming out of high school. That should project, 210 shouldn't be a problem at all. Probably 215 is doable. He's 5'10", so 5'10", 210, 5'10", 215 is a great place to be by the time he gets out of school. I have no real problems with his weight, and I think that projects just fine going forward as long as he hits that Alabama, strength and conditioning program. He is clocked at a 10.7 100-meter. Now, I don't love relying on a 40. I don't love relying on 100-meter, but what it does do is say that what we're seeing on the field, especially when you're looking at high school clips, you never quite know what the competition is like. You never quite know, is he running away from guys because they're bad, or does he have legit speed? Now, 10.7 100-meter correlates roughly to flirting with a 4.4, certainly 4.5 at worst. And so he's got legitimate, NFL caliber speed for a running back to me. So that just kind of confirms what I saw on tape, the ability to separate, the ability to break a big play, should all the stars align on the play and the blocking and all that. So he's got a 3 for the first step. It's not, my favorite thing about him. Usually I like to see guys with that electric first step. It just shows, a lot of fast twitch. It shows a lot of ability to make quick moves, quick decisions. He's average at that. 3 is just kind of like fine. But then he starts excelling in some of these other categories. So acceleration, I've got him at a 4. Change of direction, 3.5. Long speed, 4, because 5 would be like you're getting down to 10, 10, 5, 10, 4, 100 meter, something like that. Contact balance, he gets a 5. Now, a 5 for me is like best in class, or maybe tied with 1, maybe 2 other guys with a 5. I don't think I have another 5 for contact balance. I have 1 more 5 for contact balance in the whole class. So that's a big deal. And then you've got his vision is a 4, and his receiving is a 5. So let's talk about the categories he has a 5 in for me. Contact balance. This guy is a strong runner. He is absolutely a monster to take down. And he gets himself in positions to where you cannot get a hit where you have the advantage. He's always got a sturdy base. He's always in a good flexed position where you can't catch him off guard. You can't catch him and knock him back, it seems. He's got an incredibly strong base. He's got strong, legs to power through. He squares up. He is really good at taking contact and shedding tackles. And then for receiving, I did not expect to give this guy a 5, but the tape shows him lining up outside as a bona fide X receiver and putting double moves, on deep balls, catching, contested catches against the DB coming down with the ball. He's running 10-yard outs and putting a nice, sharp out on it, catching it 2-touch and falling out of bounds. He's got, of course, your screen passes and stuff. What really sets him apart is the ability, to line up outside on a DB and make wide receiver type movements and catch the ball, of course. But he's not just catching screen passes. I mean, this guy is making receiving plays outside. You can put him anywhere on the field. He's going to come through for you. So obviously I like that. That's what really separates him out with some of these other guys that have 3s and 4s at receiving. They show a couple things on tape, maybe come out of the backfield, do a little, angle route, slant in, something like that. But this guy is actually doing receiver things, which is incredible, combined with all his running back specific skill set. I'm very impressed with that. So he got a 5. I think there's only one other guy with 5 for receiving in the class for me. So he's got 2 of the best categories in the whole class. Vision is a 4. He seems to set up future blocks and kind of, does seem to make the right decision most of the time. And then, change of direction is the other thing I want to talk about. He's not going to wow you with shiftiness the way Travion Henderson did last year, who would have had a 5 at change of direction. Now, it doesn't have to be juking to me. Change of direction can be anything that gets you on a different angle or a different path to where the defender can't just lock in and get a clean hit on you. So you may a guy may be able to kind of change angles where his body is moving and slide off tacklers. That might be one way to do it. Another way is the fancy juke where you put a foot in the ground and spin around a guy. That is changing direction. So to me, I kind of put any way a guy can change direction gets that grade if he's effective at it. I would say Miller is effective. It's not flashy. He does seem to be able to kind of change angle, change his shoulder pad where he's square to, so that guys can't get a good hit on him, which I count kind of as change of direction. He can certainly, do a quick juke sidestep, put a foot in the ground, get around a guy. I mean, he does do that, but it's not make you sit up in your chair. How did he do that? It's subtle. He moves his body in a subtle way, but he's really good at evading contact. And then he's good at powering through contact. And then acceleration is a 4. I think he just explodes, whether it's into a hole, out of the backfield, whether it is, post contact, he can take a hit and then accelerate again post hit to, basically reach close to top speed in a short amount of time. So even if you get a hand on him, get a full shoulder into him, it doesn't stop his ability to move forward. And he's always, moving forward. He's a very efficient runner. I don't see this guy taking a lot of, negative yardage. I really like Jamarion Miller. I think the outlook at Alabama for next year, you can never expect a true freshman to come into Alabama and, do a ton, to be honest. But I think by year 2, I think he's a better pure running back than Kamar Wheaton, who was a 5-star last year. I think we just haven't seen much from Jason McClellan, who's been kind of injured. And then Trey Sanders, unfortunately, I love Trey Sanders coming out of school, and he's just never done anything. And even when Brian Robinson was kind of banged up, Sanders didn't really do a lot. So, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's going to be Sanders' backfield. I don't know whose backfield it's going to be. I think a lot of people think Jace. And then we just have Jahmyr Gibbs going in, and Jahmyr Gibbs probably has 1 year and then he's off to the NFL. So I think year 1 for Miller is probably not going to be huge, but I think by year 2, he has a good chance to be the lead back at Alabama. And really, let's be honest, for future NFL potential, all you need at Alabama is 1 year. If you got to wait till junior year and he has a great season, declares for the NFL, first, second round pick is in his bag if he does well, and I think he will. So he doesn't have to star for 3 years to get a high draft pick in the NFL. And at Alabama, you just do it for 1 year and everyone's like, yep, you got it. So I think that could be his path. So on the college side of C2C, be patient. But I think his future is very bright. I'm really, really like Jamarion Miller. He's my RB3 in a tier of his own. And tune in to Campus to Canton for more early signing day breakdowns. This is Alfred, and I'll see you guys next.